Okay, let's just dive right into this explainer and completely reframe how we handle our daily corporate battles. You might think world-class execution is strictly reserved for elite sports competitors, right? But today, we're going to look at how the exact same cognitive frameworks used to win championships can be actively trained to achieve extraordinary success, literally right in the boardroom. And this perfectly illustrates our glaring problem. On one side, you've got an Olympic athlete seamlessly executing a flawless routine under immense pressure. On the other, a stressed out professional in a boardroom, staring blankly at a laptop, totally surrounded by empty coffee cups. We just mistakenly believe that performance psychology is a luxury reserved solely for the folks wearing jerseys or gold medals. But here's the reality of what we're actually missing. Every single day, we face intense mental demands, insane pressure, and high-stakes decisions. Yet what do? We only train our hard skills. We study spreadsheets, we analyze data, we endlessly practice our pitch decks, but we completely ignore the psychological engine required to actually execute those hard skills. The truth is, the exact same mental strategies champions use are equally beneficial for executives, surgeons, and performing artists. So let me ask you a serious question. If you could break down human performance into its most basic components, how many things do you actually have control over? Well, high-performance psychologist Dr. Michael Gervais points out that we only have control over exactly 3 things in our life: our craft, our body, and our mind. So, are you completely neglecting 1/3 of your potential? Let's move to section 1, the distraction trap, leaving success to chance. Because stepping into a high-pressure corporate environment without mental training, that leaves you incredibly vulnerable. Look, in any high-pressure environment, challenges and setbacks are just inevitable. But if you fixate purely on the final outcomes, like scoring a massive sale, hitting the quarterly numbers, or getting a promotion, it actually strips away your mental grounding when those challenges pop up. If you only focus on the numbers, you lack the mental armor to bounce back from failure. It means a single bad meeting can literally ruin your entire week because you're merely surviving your workday. You aren't actively performing in it. Super Bowl winning coach Pete Carroll makes a really fascinating, counterintuitive point about this. He notes that successes can actually be just as difficult and challenging to navigate as defeats. Without a disciplined mind, sure, you get distracted when you come up short, but you lose your grounding just as easily when you win. You absolutely need mental discipline for both ends of the spectrum. Also, did you know that raw talent is actually heavily overrated? It's true. Researchers have found that talent without grit can only take you so far. Grit, which is basically the capacity to work hard and practice even when practice isn't fun, is our absolute most important talent when it comes to thriving under pressure. That brings us to section 2, the tactical professional, and its 3 elite performance principles. To achieve more, we've got to apply elite methodologies to our own lives. Coach Carroll and Dr. Gervais built a platform called Compete to Create to help people do exactly that. Let's break down the 3 core principles you need to implement today to perform like an athlete at work. They are establishing mindfulness, defining your personal philosophy, and cultivating grit. Let's look at the first one. You cannot change what you aren't aware of, which is exactly why Dr. Gervais calls this foundational awareness Tier 0 for individual change. Tier 0 is mindfulness. It's the practice of becoming intensely aware of your thoughts, words, and actions, and observing how they align with helping yourself and others be their very best. Everything, and I mean everything, starts at Tier 0. Moving on to Principle 2, define your personal philosophy. Look, when chaos strikes at work, and come on, we know it will, you need an unshakable anchor. There is absolutely nothing more important than knowing exactly who you are, where your center is, and what you stand for. Look at what happens when you establish that philosophy. It provides deep internal peace, a way to stay centered regardless of whatever challenges get thrown at you, and an immunity to the doubts and questions of others. When you're at peace with this personal philosophy, it acts like a shield, ensuring you stay grounded no matter what fires pop up during your workday. And that brings us to Principle 3, cultivate grit. Elite athletes don't just have fleeting passion. They have the rugged grit required to bounce back with optimism when things get incredibly tough. This means having a real fire for what you're pursuing, the perseverance to hang tough through difficulties, the resilience to bounce back with optimism, and just immense inner drive. Let's get honest for a second here and think about your own work habits. When a project gets really difficult, do you push through? Or do you suddenly decide it's the absolute perfect time to meticulously organize your inbox for an hour? Actually, ask yourself, Can you outlast your own urge to quit, or do you rely on productive procrastination? In elite sports, they have a term for people who push through: the finisher. It literally just means doing right longer than your opponent. To be a finisher in the corporate arena, you just have to outlast the resistance. You just have to do the right thing a little bit longer than everyone else. As we wrap up this explainer, let's move to our final point. Section 3, service over self. High performance is a team sport. Ultimately, you're leading or working alongside individuals within a relationship-based organization. Think about it. In football, coaches are leading individuals within relationship-based organizations. The corporate world is absolutely no different. You might not be calling plays on a turf field, but you are interacting with, leading, and depending on a team of human beings. Being a phenomenal teammate ultimately boils down to being in service of others, no matter what your specific title is. When you genuinely care about the task at hand and the people around you, you're going to receive an incredible amount in return. Show up for your team, apply that elite mindset to serving them, and the resulting performance, it'll take care of itself. So it's time to make a choice. Stop treating your career like a miserable daily grind, where you're just surviving the workday totally unequipped for pressure. Instead, start treating it like the ultimate performance arena. Train your mind, define your personal philosophy, and become a finisher. I want to leave you with this. What is one core belief that makes up your personal philosophy? Really think about it. If this explainer helped you, make sure to subscribe for more and tell me in the comments below, what is the one core belief that anchors you when the pressure is on? Keep training that mind, and I'll see you in the next explainer.